Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to the channel. Hey, today in this video we're going to talk about this big new PvP thread that was on Twitter, courtesy of Joe Golgaroth, right? So anyways, we're going to talk about that thread and what that means for us as Destiny PvP enthusiasts. Does this mean like Destiny PvP is saved? How big a deal is this? Well, I've seen some pretty dramatic responses to this on Twitter. A lot of people really singing the praises of this Twitter thread. Let me just fill in the gaps for you if you're not aware. So, Joe Blackburn, he did this whole thread on Twitter today, talking about PvP, the state of PvP, where PvP is headed, and what they said was, you know, they really want to invest in the PvP experience for Destiny PvP enthusiasts. They can't imagine a version of Destiny where PvP isn't supported. And so that's encouraging stuff to hear. On top of that, he said, in terms of like a timeline, what are we looking at? It's looking like the launch of Witch Queen will have no new PvP maps. What they'll do is they will unvault maybe two. They said probably looking to unvault two maps. So maps that are already in Destiny 2, maps you're already familiar with, maps we've already played on, will come out of the vault, the content vault, when Witch Queen drops. So we'll at least have a little bit of a shakeup. We'll be playing again on maps that we haven't seen in a while, just two of them. And then looking at one new PvP map in the following season after the Witch Queen, one new PvP map. After that, they're going to bring back one Destiny 1 map, okay, that isn't currently in the game. So in terms of new maps, we're looking at one new map is what they've committed to. Now, hopefully this is going to set a standard, and that moving forward, we're going to see a new map here and a new map there coming to Destiny 2's Crucible experience. But as far as what they've committed to right now is one new map. In addition to that, they talked about bringing Rift back, so the team's already working on Rift. They got to just kind of make sure it's going to work in the Destiny 2 landscape, because obviously Destiny 2 is a very different game than Destiny 1 was. So what's that going to look like? Is Rift going to translate well into Destiny 2? That's what they're working on right now. They said they're working on new PvP modes, but we're not going to see those until, you know, later in 2022. So, a lot of people have been expressing their excitement over this thread. Like, yay, new PvP stuff. It's about time. We're going to get a rework to the Trials of Osiris system with Witch Queen. They also mentioned that. We don't know all of what that looks like yet. And obviously some sandbox tunings. So, me, a PvP enthusiast, what's my opinion on this? I will tell you this. Let me precede all of my opinions by saying this up front. I'm a PvP lover when it comes to Destiny. I love playing Destiny. Love this game. I love the work that Bungie does. I have the utmost respect for that work. But as far as this Twitter thread goes, how excited does it get me? Honestly, I'm still pretty disappointed. Frankly, we are coming out of a serious drought, a serious PvP drought. And the last thing that we heard going into that drought, was we have a renewed focus on PvP. That's the last thing we were told. And so it's very natural. Having heard that, it's very natural for PvP enthusiasts to be going into every single season, every single DLC, ever since we heard those words, renewed focus, ever since we heard those words, it's very realistic for us to go into every expansion or season asking, is this the season where something's different? Are we going to get some new PvP content this season? And it didn't happen, and it didn't happen. And so it was this cycle of anticipation and disappointment. Anticipation, disappointment, time and time again. And so I think it's very reasonable for PvP enthusiasts to be a little bit disappointed right now to hear we're committed to giving you one new map. And the way that it was delivered was almost like this revelation. That's sort of the way that I read it. Was almost like this revelation, like, oh, due to your feedback, we now understand that our PvP community wants to play on new maps that are relevant to the Destiny 2 world that we're in right now. And frankly, that should be a given. I thought that was a given. I thought it was a given that PvP enthusiasts would want to see new maps that are relevant to the current atmosphere of Destiny 2. Europa, the Braytech facilities, You know what I'm saying? The Tangled Shore even. We got no Tangled Shore maps right now in the game. We've got no Dreaming City maps in the game. Like, Forsaken and Beyond, we don't have any maps that are really relevant to those spaces that we've been in. Other than, you know, maps that are 6 years old, like Cauldron, you know? Cauldron came back. I mean, technically, I suppose that's sort of Shadowkeepy, but is it really? That's more Hellmouthy. That's Destiny 1. So I thought that was a given that PvP players would like to have every now and then a map that is relevant to what's going on in the Destiny universe. But right now, especially this season, as much as I've enjoyed Season of the Splicer, story content wise, and the seasonal content, seasonal weapons, armor, all fantastic. But if we're talking about the PvP side of things, if we look at the map rotation for PvP with Season of the Splicer, the majority of the maps that we're playing are like 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? Earth maps especially, like we're playing a lot of Rusted Lands. Rusted Lands is the, let me tell you this, if you didn't know this, Rusted Lands, it's a good map. Don't get me wrong, it's a good map. It's the oldest map in the history of Destiny. Rusted Lands was the PvP sandbox team's playground before Destiny 2 ever launched. Before Destiny 2, what, can I help you, honey?
How can I go up?
How can you go? Oh, my desk?
Yeah.
It's got a button on it that lifts it up and down, baby.
How does the computer?
The computer's just sitting on top of the desk, so it goes up with it. I'm recording a video, though, so I got to keep doing this. Thanks for saying hi. I love you. Anyways, where was I? Oh, yeah, the maps that are in the rotation. So I've been playing a ton of Pantheon, a.k.a. Convergence, 7-year-old map. I've been playing a bunch of Rusted Lands, which was the very first map ever made for Destiny in Destiny 1. 7-year-old map, plus, we don't know exactly when that map was made, but you get the point. Cauldron, Anomaly. I mean, these maps that are in the rotation right now that are very heavily weighted, very heavily favored. Twilight Gap, we're talking 7-year-old maps, and then some. You know what I'm saying? And then every now and then you're getting Bannerfall, you're getting Cauldron. These are still Destiny 1 maps. Destiny Year 1 maps. You're talking House of Wolves, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate to beat a dead horse, but I think it is very, very reasonable for PvP players to be at least a little bit disappointed that, hey, we feel a little neglected here, especially when you preceded this whole drought with setting this expectation that we're having this renewed focus on PvP. It's what we keep coming back to. So, them coming out today and saying, hey, we've got stuff coming, you know, a year down the line, is that something that I'm excited about? I mean, sure, I'm excited that there's content coming. I'm excited that we're going to have a new map to play on. But frankly, it doesn't erase the drought and the lack of communication. The best thing I think they could have done, is 2 years ago, instead of saying we have a renewed focus on PvP, if instead they had said, we cannot promise you guys any new PvP content. We've got another IP we're working on. We're stretched pretty thin. And then when COVID hit, if they would have said, listen, it's going to be a rough year for us, we still cannot commit to anything. We're looking 2 years out. You know what I'm saying? That'd have been better, because then the PvP community would not have this hopeful expectation going into every season. Is this the season? Is this the time when we get something that's going to shake up our environment a little bit? No, we're playing a several-year-old game at this point, and the only new content we get is trickle-down content from PvE. PvE, new weapon drops in PvE, it makes its way into PvP. And that's the only kind of new content you get. New subclass drops for PvE, it trickles down, it makes its way into PvP. But no specifically new PvP content. So, am I ready to sing the praises of this Twitter thread? Absolutely not. Am I excited? Yes. Do I have faith that the work that they do is probably going to be pretty good? Is it going to shake things up? Absolutely, I do. But it doesn't erase the drought that we're coming out of. It doesn't erase the lack of communication. It doesn't erase the anticipation that they themselves gave players when they said renewed focus on PvP. And so I still think it is perfectly fair and reasonable for PvP players to be a little bit jaded, to be a little bit upset, and to be a little bit disappointed, especially when this far into it is when we're hearing, oh, we get it. You guys want PvP maps. We've got teams. We're just spinning up teams. And that's the way he worded it in that tweet. Was we're just spinning up some teams to get cranking on these things. It's like, just now? Just now? If you weren't aware, game development is a slow and long process. Slow process. So when someone says we're just now getting started, that means it's gonna be some time. And that's what they said. They said we're looking, later in 2022, you're gonna start seeing some of this stuff. Give us time. It's like, okay, I felt like we were giving you time. So let me just wrap this up by saying, love Destiny PvP. I still play it. I play it every week. I love sitting down having long gaming sessions in PvP. But I'm still a little bit bummed, a little bit disappointed that it's taken this long to get the community to have their main concerns addressed outside of just sandbox issues. And I don't want to undersell. I mean, sandbox changes are a big deal. They absolutely are a big deal. They shake things up. I am very grateful that we have had some sandbox changes. I think the stasis stuff took a little too long to get addressed, but it did eventually get addressed, and it was very, very helpful. I think we're in a much more positive atmosphere right now. So I don't want to undersell that, but I am a little bit disappointed, and this Twitter thread doesn't erase that disappointment. In fact, it sort of validates the feelings that we did have. Like, are we being neglected? And then this basically came out and said, years later, we're just getting started on some stuff to address your concerns. Yes. In other words, yes, you were neglected. That's the reality of it. And so that's a little bit of a disappointment. But excited to see what that new content is. Excited to see what this one new map is going to look like. Where's it going to be? What's the environment? Is it Europa? Is it the Braytech facility? Is it going to be a setting that's unique to the Witch Queen DLC? We don't know yet, but excited to see what that might be. Let me know in the comment section what map you hope they're going to bring back from Destiny 1. What's the map that you hope they bring back? I kind of, a lot of people would say Asylum. Asylum was an incredible map, and I loved it. One of my favorite Destiny maps. Unless they rescale that map, though, I think it would not be good for Destiny 2. Unless they rescale it. So, I don't know. Maybe let that one keep its reputation for being an incredible map and don't sully it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Cathedral was actually a huge map. It was actually a really fun map, especially if you're bringing back Rift. Rift was fun there. Big Team Battle was great there. Cathedral would be cool. I don't know. What do you guys think? A lot of people said Frontier. I was never a huge Frontier fan, but, I could get behind it, I guess. But we'll see. What do you think would be a good fit? What do you think? Hey, thanks for watching the video. Tonight is like episode, I don't know, we're up in the we're almost up to episode 50 of Real Gamer Hour. RGH, me, MTashed, and Cactus HD do a gaming live talk show every week, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So we'd love to see you there. It's here on YouTube, RGH, Real Gamer Hour. If you search that, it'll be the first thing that pops up. We'd love to see you there tonight. Hey, take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching the video. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.